When the M24 Chieftain came into service, the 75mm gun was considered a substantial improvement and it was very well regarded. However, it was also very soon discovered that the 75 just wasn't good enough either, and there was a program started to mount a high-velocity 76. This was the T-37. After a couple of phases of development, the T-37 eventually evolved into the T-41. Standing behind me, the Walker Bulldog. You start off with an 8-cylinder Continental engine, cranking out 500 horsepower. Now that's a good start for a vehicle that only weighs in at 20 tons. You have 4 crewmen, the assistant driver / bow gunner has been dispensed with, and instead his place is taken up by 76mm ammunition. Driver remains in the front left. He has the automatic transmission system. For steering, he now has a sort of a T-bar system as opposed to individual tillers, and he only has the 2 pedals, the brake and the really big accelerator. The other 3 crewmen, of course, are in the turret. On the left-hand side, you'll find the loader. It services the 76mm with 11 ready rounds. The rest of the ammunition is stored either under the turret or in the front right of the hull. On the right-hand side, the gunner has his power and manual traverse controls, as will be expected, and behind him is the commander. The large bustle at the back you would expect might have extra ammunition, but no, it is entirely filled with radios. Remember, it's a light tank, its primary function is reconnaissance, not combat. Although if you have a 76mm, why not shoot at something if something makes itself available to you? The suspension continues on more or less from the Chieftain. You have 5 road wheels per side, torsion bar suspension on good solid single pin track, with chevron rubber blocks. As a light tank, armour was not a priority. The thickest in there is about 1.5 inches, and that's basically at the front of the turret and the mantlet. Everything else, you're lucky if you have an inch of armour. But again, this wasn't designed to engage enemy tanks in combat. This was designed to be survivable long enough to conduct your reconnaissance or cavalry duties. In addition to the 76mm, there was the coaxial 30 caliber. And there was also a pintle mount at the top of the turret for caliber 50 for anti-air or infantry purposes. There was also a pintle mount at the top for the commander for anti-aircraft primarily purposes. The gunner had 2 sights. He had the traditional periscopic sight which went through the turret roof, and he had also the direct vision telescope mounted coaxially to the gun. This telescope was actually hidden behind an armoured shutter. If you have a look at the front of the mantle, you will see where the armoured shutter is, and this gave a little extra protection to that backup sight. The driver in the vehicle is actually given a little bit more visibility than usual. Ordinarily, you have simply your 3 periscopes, front, slight left, slight right. In this case, there is also the possibility of a periscope mounting in the hatch, and he also has one over his left shoulder, which faces slightly to the rear. Not good enough for reversing, but certainly more visibility than he would ordinarily get. The tank is well equipped with stowage. There are sponson boxes on each side of the hull, and also there was a large stowage box on the turret bustle. The mantlet cover was simply for weather effects to prevent rain and wind from getting inside the crew compartment. The main gun is a 76mm M32, equipped with a T muzzle brake and also a fume extractor to stop the crew inside getting suffocated. Top speed of the vehicle was about 45 miles an hour, which isn't bad. The problem though was that the engine was so fuel hungry that you would run out of fuel after barely 100 miles. And that wasn't at 45 miles an hour. Originally the vehicle was to be named the Bulldog. However, after General Walker was killed in Korea, the vehicle was slightly renamed in his honor and is known as Walker Bulldog. For what it was supposed to do, the M41 was actually very good. It was mobile, it was well armed, it had a good radio system, it would get where it needed to go. However, later an additional requirement was added. It had to be air transportable to fit into the back of the airplanes that were getting bigger and more able to carry tanks. M41 didn't do that job so well, so new light tanks had to enter service to replace them. However, M41 did go on to see a good long service life in the service of friendly foreign nations.